to my corner of the internet. I'm Shannon. This guy back here, that's Bernard. I don't know if you can see him, but he's my October co-host. He doesn't say much, but you know, he shows up every year. So anyway, today I've got another spoiler-free book review to share with you guys. And today we're going to be talking about Only If You're Lucky by Stacy Willingham. Now this is the first book that I've read by Stacy, but I've heard a lot of good things about two of her other books. I think they're called A Flicker in the Dark or A Flicker in the Darkness. And the other one's called like All the Dangerous Things. And I just remember hearing people talking about them and loving them. So when I saw this one pop up on NetGalley, I was like, let's do it. Let's read it. Now, before we get into it, this one comes out in January 2024. January 16th, I believe. And I think you're going to want to add this one to your TBR list. I think so, because I had a lot of fun reading this. So we're going to get on into it. Like I said, this is spoiler free, so we're not going to be getting too into it, but just enough to let you know the general premise, and then I'll tell you my thoughts on it. So first of all, the cover's really beautiful. But aside from that, this is the story of Margot. She's a young woman who is going to college in America. I don't know how to pronounce the name of the school, but she's from the Outer Banks and she's moved, I think, to somewhere not too far away. It's like close enough that she could go home to visit if she wanted to every weekend, but she doesn't. Anyway, this was not the school her parents wanted her to go to, but she's here because when she was younger, her and her best friend Eliza had planned to go to this school together. Unfortunately, tragedy struck, and the summer after they graduated from high school, Eliza, she dies. There's a terrible accident at a party one night, and that's the end of Eliza. So there's just something about the plans previously made that makes Margot want to continue. She still wants to go, and that's about it. Now, the first year that she gets there, she's still very much, because of course it's just a couple of months after the accident, she's really struggling. She finds a roommate through like a roommate finder program at the school named Maggie, and she spends that first year with Maggie, and she credits Maggie as saving her. She had someone to spend her time with, and she just really appreciates Maggie for that. However, at the end of the first year, a girl named Lucy approaches Margot and asks if she would like to move into an off-campus house that she's living in. It's this house that's owned by one of the fraternities, and so the fraternity brothers are like the landlord of this house, and the rent's super cheap because they just kind of want to make a bit of money because the house is just otherwise standing there, you know? So there's something about Lucy that Margot's very drawn to. She kind of reminds Lucy kind of reminds Margot of Eliza, and so she accepts, even though so far as Maggie knows, they're going to be living together the next year as well. But the way that Margot words it is, she's like, I no longer need to be saved, I now need to be revived. And she knows that Lucy is like a big personality, and there's going to be four girls living in this house, and she just wants to be a part of something that's bigger. She wants to be different than she was the first year, and she thinks if she keeps living with Maggie, it's just going to be more of the same. And she has to tell poor Maggie that their plans are not going to be happening, which she feels bad about at the time. Anyway, so the story basically continues on as we learn. We're kind of going back and forth between two time periods, the before and the after, because what ends up happening is one of the boys in the fraternity ends up brutally murdered. You know, there's no way around it. When they see his body, they're like, there's no way this was an accident. So it kind of becomes this story of piecing together what happened to Eliza back before Margot came to the school. Piecing together what happened to this kid, Levi was his name, now that, you know, this terrible thing has happened. And it's more or less the story of, it's a story looking at female friendships, the messy webs we can get ourselves tangled into, lies that are told between friends, you know, and discovering the truth about people you really cared about and how upsetting and devastating that can be. And I really enjoyed it. I thought it was great. Finishing this book definitely makes me want to go back and check out Stacy's earlier books, because I thought the twists, like there was, once you get like, probably, I don't know, more than halfway through the book, suddenly the twists start coming and they don't stop until the end. And I thought they were all great. Some things I had kind of thought, but some completely took me off. Completely caught me off guard. I was surprised I hadn't seen it coming at all. And yeah, I think the story works great. I think I'm going to give it maybe 4.5 stars. Like I said, I just really enjoyed it. And we'll definitely be keeping an eye out for Stacy Willingham in the future. And also in the past. I'm going to go back and check out her earlier books as well. But yeah, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. If you like thrillers in general, you know, fast-paced, the chapters are short, which I love. I love when a book has short chapters. It's my favorite thing. And this definitely has that. And yeah, it keeps you turning the pages. I read it in like a day and a half. It was great. So yeah, that's my thoughts on Only If You're Lucky. It was definitely interesting. And so now I'm going to be reading Assistant to the Villain, which I picked up on a whim at Walmart one day, knowing nothing about it. I've since, and sorry if I sound funny, I feel like I'm coming down with a cold, but I've since seen that it's seems to be very popular on TikTok. I think the author's like a TikToker. I don't know. But it's beautiful. The cover is this beautiful purple, and the edges of the book are splayed red, and it's just, why don't all books have splayed edges? It's so good. But yes, so that's what we're going to be reading next. So again, like I said, January 16th, I'm pretty sure. If I'm wrong about that, I'll correct myself in the description box, but I don't think I'm wrong. And yeah, mark your calendars. And if you've read from Stacy before, let me know which of her 2 previous books that I mentioned was your favorite. And that's the one I'll read next, based on what you guys say was your favorite. Anyway, if you're watching this in Canada, happy Thanksgiving. It's the first weekend in October is Thanksgiving here. And it always kind of coincides with my wedding anniversary. So that's always fun. Anyway, yeah. Bernard, you can't see his face, can you? I'll have him better situated in the next video. But until then, I hope you guys have a great day, and I'll see you very soon. Bye.